Students, in the path to modernization, we were doing the topic story of Korea. Okay, what we saw that in May 1961, okay, the Democratic Party government, it was whom? It was overthrown by the military coup by General Park Chung-hee. Okay, by General Park Chung-hee, and later you can see that after that there was an election which was held in the year 1963, and this military coup, Park Chung-hee, okay, he became he elected the president, okay, president of South Korea. So there was rapid economic growth, okay, there was a rapid economic growth as far as you can see Park Chung-hee 5-year economic plan, and then you will see second, his export oriented policy. So the 5-year economic plan of the government, they favored the large corporate firms, placed emphasis on expanding the employment and increased the Korea competitiveness, okay, and under the export oriented policy, you can see the government supported the labor intensive light industrial products such as the textile and the garment. And later in the 1960 and 1970, okay, they shifted toward the light industry to heavy industries, okay, or value added heavy and chemical industries, steel, non-ferrous metal, machinery, shipbuilding, electronics and chemical production. They were selected the most important industries in the race for economic growth. So when we talk about heavy industries, so they were chemical industries, steel industry, non-ferrous metal industry, shipbuilding and electronic. And in 1970, they introduced Saemal movement. Okay, Saemal movement or the New Village movement. New Village movement to encourage, or you can see, or mobilize or organize the rural population, okay, to encourage or to mobilize the rural population, as you can see. And second thing, they need to modernize the agriculture sector. Modernize the agriculture sector. Third, they talk about the empowerment in the rural sector, okay, to encourage them to or to empower to help themselves in developing their villages, okay, and improve the living conditions of their respective communities. So you can see the movement, later it was expanded to the urban areas when we talk about this movement. So when we talk about the Korea that has achieved a rapid economic growth, so it's a contribution, you can see, of there is a role of a strong leaders, okay, you can see well trained these bureaucrats, aggressive industrialists and a capable labor force. And then ambitious entrepreneurs, they responded well to government incentive to increase export, and they develop a new industries. Even the high level of education you can see it also contributed to the economic growth of Korea. As you can see, the almost all Korean workers were already literate and could easily acquire the new skill. Even you can see the foreign investment. And you can see Korea domestic saving, high domestic saving, okay. It also helped to develop the heavy industrial sectors. So when we talk about Park Chung-hee, okay, so you can see economic growth, it was the foundation of Park administration. And you can see Park, he revised the constitutions, okay, he revised the constitution so that he could run for a third term, and he was re-elected in the year 1971. So in you can see in October 1972, Park declared and implemented the Yusin constitutions, okay, Yusin constitutions. So in this constitution you can see the president, he had complete authority over the legislation, administration or executions, or you can say administration, and here jurisdiction. So here comes the president had a complete authority over the legislative, administration and jurisdiction. And you can see he had a constitutional right to repeal any law as in emergency measures. So as the president was invested with absolute authority, you can see the progress of democracy was temporarily suspended, okay, to chase the economic development. However, you can see the second oil crisis. Here comes the second oil crisis in the year 1979. Okay, you can see second oil crisis. As you can see the drop in the, there was a drop in the supply of the oil in the global world. Okay, so what happened? It acted as a hindrance to the economic policy which had over-invested in the heavy chemical industry. So moreover, you can see the students and the scholars and the opposition, they continually demonstrated against the Yusin constitutions. As the Park administration, it acknowledged of emergency measures and suppression. It brought about political instability. So here he was at the mid of the economic crisis and there was a political instability. The Park administration, Park Chung-hee, his administration, okay, it came to an end in October 1979, okay, his administration came to an end in October 1979 when Park Chung-hee was assassinated or he was murdered. So after the death of Park Chung-hee, you can see the desire for the democratizations or democracy, the desire for the democratizations or democracy, it grew. So but in December 1979, another military coup, here he was Chun Do-hwan, okay, Chun Do-hwan, he was staged, okay. So in May 1980, various protests in key cities around the nation were held by the students and the citizens. They were demanding what? They were demanding democracy. Okay. So, in the face of the Chun military faction. So, the military faction, they suppressed the democracy movement. Okay. He suppressed the democracy movement. by implementing what? By implementing martial law across the country. So you can see in the city of Guangzhou, in particular, students and the citizens did not back down and demanded that martial law be ended. So this is known as Guangzhou democratization movement. However, you can see Chun military faction, they suppressed the protest for democracy. Later that year, Chun became the president through an indirect election under the Yusin constitutions. So when we talk about the Chun administrations, okay, he strengthened the suppressions of democratization influence in order to stabilize the regimes. So in part to the international economic boom, the Chun administration, it was able to raise the economic growth from 1.7% to, you can see in 1980 it was 13.2% the economic growth, while also significantly you can see it lowered the inflation. Okay, so this economic development has led to urbanizations, improved educational level and media advancement. So now the citizens' self-awareness about the political right, it grew, leading to demand for a constitutional amendment to allow direct election of the president. So in May 1987, you can see Chun administration minimizations of inquiries into the death by torture of a university student was made known, making citizens being participate in a large-scale struggle for democracy. So the June democracy movement, here comes June democracy movement. Which the demand for the movement is to bring democracy. So you can see followed that had participations not only by the student but the middle class as well. Owing to this effort, the Chun administration were forced to make a revision of the constitution allowing the direct elections. So a new chapter of Korea democracy, it began. So when we talk about the first direct election, you can see it was held direct election, okay, in the year December 1987, okay. But due to the opposition party's failure to unite, you can see our fellow leaders of Chun military factions, now who was elected, Roh Tae-woo, okay, Roh Tae-woo was elected. So Korea continued along the path of democracy. So you will see in 1990, long-time opposition leader, here comes. So here you will see Kim Young-sam, he compromised with Roh party to create a large ruling party. So in December 1992, Kim, a civilian, was elected the president after a decade of the military rule. So now here comes Kim, okay, in the year 1992, okay. So first civilian who was elected the president after the military rule. With this election, you can see, and the consequence dissolution of authoritarian military power, democracy, it made its forward march. So under the export-driven policy of the new administration, several companies grew to a global prominence, which continued until the early 1990s. With the government support, now Korean conglomerates invested in capital-intensive heavy and chemical industries as well as the electronic industries, while the government, they continue to focus on building industrial and social infrastructure. So Kim administration, they joined the Organization for Economic Cooperation, okay, OECD, Organization for economic cooperation and development in the year 1996 and attempted to strengthen Korea's international competitiveness. But amidst increasing trade deficit, poor management by financial institutions, reckless business operation by conglomerates, and more, Korea was met with a foreign currency crisis in the year 1997. So the crisis here was dealt with through emergency financial support which was provided by the International Monetary Fund. Simultaneous efforts were also made to improve the country economic, you can see, constitutions, as the citizens actively contributed toward foreign loans repayments through the gold collection movement.